Okay guys, we're back at shooting range, Cowtown. Arizona is highly likely to get forest fires right now, so they are not letting anybody shoot anywhere on public land, state, BLM, national forest. So we are at the shooting range. I want to give you guys a realistic look at what these muzzleloaders do and just compare them side by side, and also just see what they do on their own. They're two muzzleloaders that are long range, marketed as long range muzzleloaders, have a lot of upgraded features and not very expensive compared to buying a custom muzzleloader for, you know, $5,000 to $7,000 all in. So at this point, the first one I'm going to do is shoot the Remington Ultimate. And like I've introduced in other videos, this is actually what I've been shooting. So this is what's been shooting pretty well. I've shot a lot of different saboted bullets. I haven't gone with the Parkers because of a number of reasons. I don't want to pay that much money for a muzzleloader bullet. I would rather shoot a bullet that's really accurate and has downrange performance, and I don't have to mess with, and I can go down to the store and buy it right now. All these things kind of come into play as a realistic hunting scenario. So we're going to be shooting these muzzleloaders at 150 yards and seeing what they do on paper. Looked like they were all good in line left to right. Looks like there's a little variation elevation-wise. I am just using a 16 power Vortex Diamondback tactical scope. So there is going to be a little bit of variance at 150 yards just with my scope. So that was 3 shots from each out of an uncleaned barrel. I did what I didn't want to do. So my first shots from the other rifle, some of them blended in to the shots from the last one from the other muzzleloader. So, but you can still see the group. I had 2 that were close, and then one, I actually felt the barrel lift just a little bit. I might not have been tucked up against my shoulder tight enough, and I kind of felt the muzzle lift a little bit. Out of the first one, shot 1, 2, 3. That's roughly, I'm gonna put calipers on it later when I get back to my house. But that's right at probably just under a 2-inch group. Left to right's good. The shame about the second group is that they blended in right here. But shot number 1 and shot number 3 are almost touching. And then I had this guy up here. I don't think I had it tight enough. And when you have big recoiling guns, these muzzleloaders are shooting 250 grain, 50 caliber bullets, and you need to tuck them. You need 5 pounds of pressure against your shoulder. I just don't think I had that, and my recoil was a little bit different. So these two were touching because they're like right here, man. They're like boom, boom, and this is part of my first group, and then it's boom, 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 and so not too worried about it as long as I feel it. And that's something to note when you're shooting and we're trying to shoot for accuracy, is that really keep in mind what each shot feels like and then see what happens downrange. Just to try to pick up inconsistencies that may be you and not necessarily your equipment, because that's one of the frustrating things, is isolating what is the problem. With this particular situation, I'm comfortable with that because I'm like, hey, I felt it rise. I expected an up and right shot when I let go. I'm like, oh man, I felt that rise, and it's probably up and right, because that's just what I notice as a tendency. If I don't tuck it in tight and I have some trigger pull, I'm right-handed, sometimes the shot will be just a little bit up and right. But I'm happy with the variance left to right. As you can see, there's really nothing out of line here, and I'm happy overall. So we're gonna go shoot it out of a clean barrel and see the difference. I think with the plastic saboted bullets, they come out so dirty, you can feel the muzzle pressure. I almost couldn't even reload if I did not clean with some of those saboted bullets. With these Powerbelt bullets, you just saw I can shoot 3, no problem. I do feel a little bit of pressure change. Obviously, that's going to be slightly translated downrange as well, but I can get it off. In a hunting scenario, I can rip off 3 rounds in a reasonable fashion if I need to. You can do whatever you want, but my approach is this. Have it as simple and efficient, as accurate as you possibly can. We're going to shoot these again, clean barrel in between each time, and we'll see what it does down at the target at 150 yards. Last shot was, I think I pulled it left. It looked left on the paper from here. So first shot, second shot, which I kind of felt like I pulled a little bit. I pulled it left. My last shot. So these 2 shots look very familiar to the first group. Out of the first one, shot 1, 2, 3. And I'm guessing that I just pulled that one left. Elevation was, right in there. And so I'm guessing I pulled that one left. I'm going to show you guys what it looks like through the scope that I'm looking through. Okay, so that's at 16 power. So you guys get an idea at 150 yards, kind of what I'm looking at with 16 power. You can see that the crosshairs are pretty fine, but I'm not really super zoomed up, to the target. This is at full power, so this is full 16 zoom on my scope, but you can see that the target is still pretty small. This is first, second, and then third shot was that last one right there. It might not be quite under 1.5 inches, but it's definitely at 1.5 inches. So we're talking a little bit tighter. And the weird thing is, that's cool, you can see that. I don't know. Oh yeah, he's right above me. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, there's a hawk that keeps screaming. It's like out of a movie. It's 100 degrees out here, so cameras and batteries don't last very well. So I'm gonna set up for the CVA. We're gonna get that rolling, and then you guys can see what that does. I just got done shooting 2 3 shot groups out of each of these CVA Paramount muzzleloaders. So at 150 yards, and you saw the scope that I'm looking through, super zoomed up. Literally, they're right on top of each other. So you have 1, 2, and then 3. And that's an unclean barrel. And I loaded that up actually in real time. I think I shot 6 shots through both of those muzzleloaders in about 6 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, but nothing less. I mean, I think it was like 6 to 8 minutes. So real time hunting situations. I don't have a lead sled. And the second group is almost identical. You have 1 here and then 2 stacked right on top of each other. 1 and then 2, 3 right on top of each other right there. Both of those loads are 105 by volume, Blackhorn 209. I go through it in another video, exactly my setup, but I'm not doing anything out of the ordinary. I'm keeping it pretty simple. You see how I load them. I load them with my hand, making a little funnel, like it's a hunting scenario, and I'm very happy with both these groups. I may need to move this guy a little bit to the right, because that looks like it's consistently about a half MOA left, whereas this one, they kind of split the difference. But we're gonna look at it downrange in another video and make adjustments if I need to then. So I just want you to see what they do here first and actually see in real life scenarios, real life motion. There's no lead sleds. I'm doing it very fast. I'm not taking crazy amounts of time in between each shot. And I'm using a 16 power scope. So you saw the scopes that I'm looking through. If I had a 25 power scope on these boys, I bet I could get the groups tighter. No doubt at all. But my purpose is not to get tight groups. My purpose is to get a gun accurate enough to take big game out at long distances. So what I found is 16 power in that 500 yard range and under is just such an excellent acquiring the target type power. And you don't have a big, heavy, clunky scope on that thing. And so yeah, that's just the decision that I've chose to make. And I may change in the future. I may put 25 power night forces on these muzzleloaders, but for now I'm just going to see it. Obviously they can group pretty well right now, and we're going to take them out longer on another video, and that way you guys can see it. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. I try to be as honest and as straightforward as possible, not sugarcoating anything, and not you know, I'm not the greatest shot in the world. I'm not a sniper. I'm a big game hunting guide, outfitter, and hunter myself. So I just try to keep things realistic for my goals and for what I feel like is a lot of people's goals when they hunt and hunt in the long range type scenario. So, all right, guys, hope you tune in next time. I'm going to have some stuff. We're going to shoot a little bit further. Take it easy.